Yeah, it's the first time we've done it. So there's an element of trust and, we could say risk in it, but I think it's like the safest bet we could get, because we want to buy 500, 600, 700 homes. We could do that 4 times. We could buy from Southwark, and we could buy from Lambeth, and we could buy from Islington and Camden or whomever. That's a lot of work. And you have to get to know 20, 30 people in each of those boroughs. And one of them, 2 of them may go not as well as you want. All of our eggs in one basket, all of the same people. It's extremely efficient, and it also gives us the resilience that if something isn't quite working as we want on one of those schemes, we can offset it, we can look at opportunities elsewhere. We think it's like a safer approach.
Hello, I'm Toby Fox from 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Mount Anvil and by Bouygues, by Wates Residential and by HTA Design. And every month I'm visiting a different council to find out what works and what has to change to get more homes built. And this month, on a chilly but sunny winter's day, I've come to the London Borough of Southwark, and I'm going to meet Marcus Bate from Mount Anvil. Hello, tell us who you are and why you've brought us here. Where are we?
Yeah, hi Toby, I'm Marcus, I'm from Mount Anvil, one of our executive directors responsible for partnerships, planning, communities and sustainability.
All those things.
The fun stuff.
And where are we?
We are in our satellite marketing suite here just off Blackfriars Road, the Hoxton, within 5 minutes of, you can't see it, but our site at Friars Close, known as the Edit. So when we have people who want to buy homes in London, near the South Bank, ideally in our site, we'll take them here, introduce them to the product, give them a sense of location and have a private conversation.
And it's a bar, restaurant, hotel, co-working space called the Hoxton rather than being in Hoxton.
I'm glad you came to the right Hoxton.
And it's a great example of how Southwark has changed over recent years. So what makes Southwark investable for Mount Anvil?
Yeah, it's a really strong location. We said it beforehand, like Mount Anvil, we love central London. And we love central London locations that offer loads of things for different people. So many different transport connections here. There are so many different bars and restaurants. There is loads of education opportunities just for all the different segments of society we want. We want people in their 20s, we want people in their 50s. There is just so much to get to this location. This location almost sells itself. We think Mount Anvil maybe helps a little bit.
I'll let you say that. So you talked a little bit about the Edit. What's the nature of your deal with Southwark at the moment?
Well, the Edit is our first development in Southwark for around 10 years. We've been trying to get this next scheme in Southwark for about 10 years. And it is with a housing association called Riverside. So Southwark don't own the site, but Southwark were very closely involved in our development of that scheme through to getting planning approval last year and us starting on site earlier this year.
As a planning authority?
So they're only involved as a planning authority, but our experience with them was so good that at the same time they were procuring development partners for 4 sites, 1 or 2 of which we already knew were attractive. And so we joined the dots and went, we like central London, we like ambitious boroughs, we like ambitious, pragmatic central London boroughs. And so when Southwark advertised this portfolio of sites, we thought, if the Edit's gone this well, why don't we do it 4 times?
So why a portfolio of sites? How does that work?
Yeah, it's the first time we've done it. So there's an element of trust and, we can say risk in it, but I think it's like the safest bet we could get, because we want to buy 500, 600, 700 homes. We could do that 4 times. We could buy from Southwark, and we could buy from Lambeth, and we could buy from Islington and Camden or whomever. That's a lot of work. And you have to get to know 20, 30 people in each of those boroughs. And one of them, 2 of them may go not as well as you want. All of our eggs in one basket, all of the same people. It's extremely efficient. And it also gives us the resilience that if something isn't quite working as we want on one of those schemes, we can offset it, we can look at opportunities elsewhere. So we think it's like a safer approach and really attractive, because that gives us a pipeline with the same partner for near a decade.
Yeah. And why is that a good thing rather than a risk? Because if things go wrong in that partnership, all of your eggs are in that basket.
Yeah. Yeah, is concentration a risk or an opportunity? We think that good people who work together closely will always work better over time. rather than worse. So it can only be a good thing that the Mount Anvil team are dealing day in, day out with the same people. Some will move on, but most of them we think are constant. So if we can have political stability, similar people in projects across a portfolio, that gives us an ability to understand what that partner wants. So much more predictable, and predictability is what the private sector really wants, to be able to know what your partner wants from a scheme.
So tell us about those schemes. What are the sites, first of all? Where are they? What are they?
Yeah, so we have 4 development sites in this portfolio, which are in relatively high value locations, principally around Canada Water. And those sites are, we would say, medium size. We may deliver 100 to 250 homes on each of those sites. So across the whole, 500, 600, 700 homes. Key priorities that the council sought for us to deliver. First and foremost, 50% affordable housing. A lot of partners say that and then can't find a way through. We have a really clear plan, 50% affordable housing across the 4 sites. And then swings and roundabouts about how we make that work. 1 or 2 sites probably wouldn't happen on their own. 1 or 2 sites are very good. And when you bring them together, then you have a portfolio that manages to deliver those outcomes overall. Most of our schemes are probably larger than the individual schemes in this portfolio. But when we aggregated them, they looked attractive.
Yeah.
You take the same logic. We have 3 schemes of 1,000 plus homes, which is almost like 3 or 4 developments all merged together.
Yeah.
The downside of that compared to a portfolio is that all of your eggs are in one locational basket.
Right.
Like, I love our scheme in Acton. I love our scheme in Islington. But if those locations, something goes wrong, you're totally exposed. Here you have individual products, individual locations. If one doesn't quite go so well, we're not so exposed. I think it's a safer bet having it spread across a number of locations.
And what's the time period that you're looking to develop those 4 sites out? Are there limitations? Is there a requirement to build them before a certain date?
Yeah, we get flogged if we don't do them fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Southwark birch comes out.
We loved it. That was like one of the really attractive things for us about Southwark. Speed was right at the top of the list. A lot of affordable housing, social rented housing. Make sure those schemes are viable across the portfolio and deliver them fast. We're starting some work this year. We'll be starting the first 1 or 2 sites next 2 or 3 years, like really big construction phase. Probably launching sales in maybe 3 years' time. We'll be handing over homes 2032, 2033, 2034 to get to the end of that entire portfolio. So start fast, but we need to plan or replan 3 or 4 of those schemes.
So you're going to be hitting the private sales market for that element of those schemes in sort of 3-4 years' time.
Exactly. Not today, thankfully.
How much of a punt are you taking on the market having recovered by then and you being able to get that revenue in? And how, because you've got to deliver the affordable beforehand?
One of the reasons that we find it attractive to have such a high amount of affordable housing is that there is certainty on who's buying them. There is such an enormous demand for social rented housing in London. If you have a local authority who's willing to buy those homes, has the capacity to buy them, and has good grant funding through an excellent relationship with the GLA, like Southwark, that is 40, 50% of your housing de-risked. Downside, less profit. Upside, you've managed to de-risk that element. So for us, we'd say that's the most important thing. Is our partner local authority with us on the affordable housing, a high level, and will they buy it? Private side, I don't think it's a punt. One, because we don't look at today and just go, today's miserable, it's going to be miserable for another 7 years. We look at what it's been like for the last 10 years and extrapolate and say there are ups and downs. But if we can sell 50 homes here at the Edit over the last few years and it's been difficult, we're confident that it'll be better in the future. And the dynamics of central London, we've said before, people want to live here, they want to work here, it's easy to travel to. We're confident that proposition is still going to be really strong for a long time.
So you're being optimistic about this partnership and about the portfolio. What is it that might keep you awake at night? What are the things that might slow it down, that might go wrong?
Yeah, I am a natural optimist. So I have to think for a few seconds about things that might slow things down.
Even in these circumstances, you're an optimist.
Even right now. Even right now. Well, in a partnership, the thing that you can control least is your counterparty. We have some degree of control over Mount Anvil employees through the leadership vision and culture we set. We have less control over our partners. One of the things, it doesn't keep me up at night, I sleep well, but one of the things that occasionally I have worried about is, will our partners remain as aligned with us through a project that may last for 7 years, like this portfolio, as they do at the start?
Yeah.
Because at the start, it's always so good. They've selected you, you're their favorite partner.
Yeah.
You all want the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what you want. And then will that last? And will the objectives that seem to be so clear and singular, when you then take that into a project with 20 people, do you find that actually there is more than one agenda and there's a number of different objectives? So that potential for alignment to dissipate over time would be one thing, I'd say. And yeah, I think it's harder for local authorities to maintain momentum than developers. So you can be ambitious and say, let's crack on day one. And then you get all these difficult decisions that development brings. And the temptation is to go, I don't want to make that decision. The risk of getting it wrong, like the cultural challenge if you make a bad decision. So the desire to just push these things off, which at a private sector developer, you can just take more risks.
Well, and of course they've got so many different objectives that at any one time that the kind of the balance of which objectives matter most might change.
So that would be
Whereas your objective is pretty clear, right?
Oh, really
Build
clear.
as many houses as you can, sell as many houses as you can.
As fast as we can, reasonable prices, because everything that we complete, we then reinvest in our next scheme. So we're incredibly incentivized to go fast. Yeah, so one of the main barriers to going as fast as we want might be misalignment down the line. I think another one that the portfolio approach removes, which is that procurement takes up a lot of the time in the scheme. We can find that from first being invited to express interest, to being selected as the preferred development partner, to entering contracts, and then getting planning, maybe with a ballot or two in between, and starting on site, that period could be like 3 or 4 years. And then to build that development, it might be 3 years. So that's one of the things, and the portfolio approach has taken all of that procurement time efficiently, packaged it up, and made 4 decisions at once. So it saves us a lot of time. It means that all of our time that could have been spent on 3 more procurements is actually spent designing, delivering on those schemes.
So Marcus, here we are standing casually in front of your fantastic view of the Edit, your scheme in Southwark. What I wanted to ask you about was what you feel needs to change so that Mount Anvil could build more homes, so that more homes could be built in general.
Yeah, let's take, I think the starting point probably is the end, is like, who can you sell the homes to?
Okay.
All of the statistics that scares me most. Construction starts, very depressing. Construction completions, pretty depressing. Construction cost inflation has been very worrying, but settled down a little bit. So few people can sell enough homes. And if you can't sell the homes, no sensible developer will want to progress at pace. So I think one of the biggest challenges is finding a way that we can affordably make private homes available for sale or rent. At the moment, residential development is taxed too much. Too much. And it's just very attractive for people to invest elsewhere. We would like people who buy homes to pay less tax. We think that it's taxed too much. And at the moment, there aren't enough people buying homes in London. So direct taxation, if that could be reduced, perhaps on a short-term measure, a bit like the government's currently introducing short-term emergency measures on some development taxes. Maybe they could do that direct for purchasers. But yeah, also for developers. The amount of taxation, you've had the building safety regulation system that's already made development costs very high. You then get a community infrastructure levy. We have a building safety levy. Affordable housing is a tax on itself. So it just makes it harder and harder to make schemes viable, which is why probably partners like Southwark have to find creative structures and portfolios to try and make schemes work.
But the supposition is that in order to get the affordable and social homes that the council needs, that we need as a country, because we've got temporary accommodation problems, we've got homeless people and so on and so forth, to solve that problem, we need to sell more homes to people who buy privately, because that cross-subsidy is what's paying for those social and affordable homes.
That's right, unless
that's the model.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit mad? I mean, isn't there another way to build the social and affordable homes that we need?
If they covered the costs by themselves and you could deliver schemes that were 100% affordable housing in central London, and that would generate you the maximum number of homes, then you wouldn't need private sector partners like us to bring them forward. If you take Friars Close now as the light dims, there were 26 affordable homes in that scheme. That could have been refurbished, redeveloped. Maybe you would have added a few more affordable homes. Maximum 50, we did a few scenarios.
Yeah.
There are 149 homes in that scheme. There are double the number of affordable homes. So we are still able to generate a significant uplift in affordable housing at the same time as making the most of the site. There are 5 times as many homes.
So if you can do all of that, how can you say that there's too much tax? You know, you're able to deliver all of those affordable homes.
Only just. You have to, and you've seen the site, you have to squeeze the most out of schemes, particularly if you want to deliver high levels of affordable housing. You look at London's track record of the last few years, the affordable housing that had been 35% or more, and GLA had really managed to get most people compliant into that zone. Affordable housing delivery has come lower and lower and lower because schemes were less and less viable. What we would like to do is help the public sector deliver 50% affordable housing, the opposite to what a lot of other people are doing. And to do that, you need to be really ambitious, have a lot more homes on sites, including a lot of private homes.
So are you saying that if land and development and developers were taxed less, you would be able to ramp up the production, the development of those affordable and social homes?
You could build faster, but I think most importantly, you could build more affordable homes. And time and time again, the local authority partners that we work with, the number one thing they want, social rented homes. And if there were less direct and indirect taxes on development, you could have more of them.
So what's the capacity of a company like Mount Anvil to build more homes if those restrictions and difficulties were overcome?
Yeah, we have to know our place in society. Yeah. We're the first 20 years we were building 200, 250 homes a year. And 2020 was around 500. This year we complete 1,000 homes. This year we start 1,000 homes. Next year we start 1,000 homes. It is not 1.5 million homes. Yeah. You need a lot of Mount Anvils, but we have quadrupled our capacity. And I think the more that you give local authorities the freedom to take the risks and make the investments that they feel capable of, that really drives it, because we can be as enthusiastic at Mount Anvil as we'd like, but it's reliance on Southwark. It's Southwark's ambition that will realise the delivery of those 4 sites. So give the local authorities the powers, the ability to borrow and invest in a way that's sensible for them to deliver their contribution.
So how do you feel about the fact that the government has enabled RPs, housing associations, to access low-cost finance now, low-cost loans, but restricted councils from doing that?
Yeah, I think the low-interest loans is an amazing, that's a great innovation and a great opportunity, and should be available for a wider range of public sector partners. If you take it, our core business, estate regeneration, you need a large amount of affordable housing in an early phase. That is not fundable on traditional markets. It makes a loss. It's not fundable. A low interest loan available to anybody who is delivering high quality affordable housing in estate regeneration, it should be made available. Like, I don't understand why the scope isn't wider, and we're very supportive of a wide range of people accessing low interest loans.
Marcus, thank you very much for your role in 1.5 million new homes.
Thank you very much, Toby.
So that's it from another episode of 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge, sponsored by Redloft and by Bouygues UK and Wates Residential and Mount Anvil and HTA Design. But we're going to be back with more from the London Borough of Southwark in just a few days. So subscribe and hit like and you won't miss those episodes. And we'll look forward to seeing you there.